I can be a singer. I can be a real singer because listen to Tony's voice, listen to Brandy's voice. And I started to study their voices and the way that they manipulated their soft palate, their tongue, their mouth to make the sounds that they make.
Yeah.
And then when I went to Howard, I'm still a proud honorary member of the Howard Gospel Choir. That was my
Come
nickname.
on,
They called
gospel
me
choir.
Yeah, my nickname in the choir was Tony.
Wow. So from the looks to the voice, it just gave Miss Braxton, and that's what we love.
Well, there's only one Miss Braxton, but I love to emulate and just study her sound to this day.
True. Well, there is one Tony, but there's also one Candice, and no one can ever emulate that. Okay.
That's true. Thank you.
And Real Housewives, you're here for another season. I think we're like 3 to 4 episodes in already.
Yes,
Y'all are
we are.
shaking the table. Okay. Now I want to get your opinion. So we have two newcomers here. We have
Yeah.
Scott and we have
Yes.
Miss Thornton. Now we haven't
Yes.
really gotten to Ascala yet. She's still
Yes.
kind of moving in
She's
a
still
little bit.
new.
Still
Yep.
new. But Mia came in with a bang. Okay. She talked about whom, she talked about everything. So, what is your thought? What was your initial thoughts on Mia, and what are your current thoughts on Mia now?
My initial thoughts on Mia were that she was a really fun girl, really free spirited, and just someone who I knew would be great for our friend group and great for the show.
Yeah.
I think that you have to be realistic and open as a member of this platform to welcoming new women and welcoming new friends because we our dynamics are what makes the show go round, and sometimes it's necessary to bring in new blood to drown out the old and keep the show and keep the machine and the train moving forward. So I was excited to have her and excited that she was willing to talk about everything, including her clit, honey. That was like,
Right.
okay, great. Let
You
me
got
sit back
confirmed.
and just watch the show and watch what happens. I think if you've all seen in our super teas that Mia and I have our own special moment.
Oh yes. Y'all
Um,
love food throw, okay?
yeah, there's a salad toss that takes place. It's much later in the season, actually, so you are going to have to wait on that. But it's important to pay attention every episode because there's a lot of lead up to that salad moment. So it doesn't
Mm,
just happen in a vacuum. It is all cumulative and it all kind of like adds up to that moment. And
right.
it's a journey. Mia goes on a very specific journey with these girls, with me and the rest of the group. I think Wendy said it in Sunday's episode that she keeps putting her foot in her mouth, and that's actual and factual. She says a lot of stuff, and her husband says a lot of stuff that
Oh,
they're gonna have to answer for. And I think that they not forgot, but because she's never been here before, but I think that she's gonna learn quickly that everything you say,
comes
you have
right back
to account.
around.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, right now, are you guys friends or are you guys not friends?
Well, that would ruin the situation.
I mean, where you guys, since you guys love to use this term, are you guys in a good place? Okay.
I don't know. I
Looks
don't
like the wife's tricks can be used on you today, Candice, but that's okay. We're going to have a conversation at some point. Now, Ascala, quick thoughts on her. In one word, how would you describe Ascala?
I love Escala. I would describe her in one word as fun. She's so
Fun.
super bubbly. She knows how to get started with the mess, honey. She was in last night's episode. She was engines revving. She came in and sat down and was talking about Karen is an alcoholic or Karen has a drinking
Yeah,
problem.
she came out blazing.
She was ready to go. I was like, oh, okay, sure. But I loved her immediately because she's a Howard girl, and
Okay.
it's always love when I meet another Howard sister. She graduated before me, so she was there before I was, and I didn't know her at Howard. But anytime I meet, an HBCU sister or especially a Howard sister, I'm immediately going
The
to
clip.
embrace you. And yeah, she's super fun.
Now, last night, and I saw an interview a week ago with Entertainment Tonight.
Yes.
You are not page. So when it comes to Karen, last night or in Entertainment Tonight, you said that she's not something you could trust. You said you can't trust Karen. And then last night when we chatted about Karen on Clubhouse, you were definitely not really so much of a fan. So what was it specifically that made you say to yourself, I can't trust this woman? And if she ever apologizes to you, do you think you guys can, in the terms of Karen, be in a good place?
Well, I think that we're in a good place where we are in the season. We're at season 3. You saw us. I'm sorry, episode 3, season 6.
Right.
Episode 3, you saw us sit down in my dining room and talk. And from that moment, as far as I'm concerned, we are in a good place because it's there. There isn't. I'm not interested in changing or convincing people how to be humans,
Okay.
and I have to protect my own peace and my own mental space, and continuing to live in that padded room of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs is
Right.
not healthy for me. I think I read some comments on Twitter from last night's episode of people being very critical and saying, "Why is she still talking about last season?" Da, 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 da. What you all have to realize is when we wrap up the season at the reunion, a lot of times we don't speak to each other until we start back filming for the following season, if we're even asked back.
Right.
Um, and once we were all asked back and the new season began, I had not spoken to Karen since that
That
very heated conversation at the reunion. And
got it.
oftentimes, when you start a new season, you have to wrap up where you were in order to move forward. So, no, this was not me using Karen and last season as my storyline, get a new storyline. You all love to use terminology that you don't know much about. Um, my storyline is very quickly revving up. The train has already left the station, honey.
Choo
Y'all are
choo it.
choking on the exhaust at the station because we have left. But I, I'm I'm not. I don't want to give anything away, but I'm not going to harp on where I am with Karen.
Okay. Okay. And it seems like your core group now is Giselle, Robin, and Miss Wendy.
Well, my core group is me. Okay, it's always me, and yes, and I have my girlfriends, and Escala is in there as well. I love Escala. I just think that as viewers, a lot of times viewers get stuck on creating little
Narrative.
groups and creating narratives and creating clubs within the group. And
Right.
it doesn't always have to be that way. I'm not tethered to anyone. I'm friends with everyone. And some people are just worthy of my friendship more than others. And you
Okay.
kind of see that dynamic ebbing and flowing throughout the
This,
throughout the show.
now, last question on this Potomac stuff before I let you leave. Will we see any kind of conversations with you and Ashley? I know she's pregnant. You mentioned that last night. You was like, she's pregnant. I'm not gonna say nothing. Will we see a conversation with you and Ashley at some point? And can we see that growth or will we not grow? What can we expect?
You will see a few conversations that happened between myself and Ashley. Um,
Mm,
it gets very weird for me. That's what I'll say. It gets weird. And
okay.
then there's some stuff that happens off camera that
Mm-hmm.
I wish, part of me wishes had happened on camera, but such is life. Reality happens when it happens, and it's not always caught on camera. But
Right.
there are
Right.
things, there were moments that happened off camera that I do wish people had seen. But there are moments. There are some strange moments that happen with Ashley and I. I think you see in the super teas, we do get back to our old ways of fussing and cussing.
Okay. That's
um,
if that doesn't happen, that's not the Ashley and Candace relationship. It's
that is
just
true.
it is.
Yes,
I
that
love
is
it. Now you have your own business, so please let us know your business, Prima Hair Collection, and just some upcoming projects you have coming with Netflix. You did a BT film, which was amazing.
Thank
Um,
you.
and in that film, fun fact, my homegirl Victoria was, I believe, in that specific film.
In the Christmas lottery.
Yeah, she plays a girlfriend, the crazy, spunky.
Oh my gosh, I love her so much.
Yeah,
She was
that is my
amazing.
friend. That is my homegirl. So when she told me she was doing that film and she
Yes.
started that, I said, I love Candace. Like
Oh,
it was
thank
such
you.
a conversation. So
She
she,
was she was incredible. We were cracking up at, because and when you're shooting a film, you do
yeah,
multiple takes. Every
mhm,
take she did, I was like gagging laughing. She's so funny, and she's super sweet.
hilarious.
She was the sweetest girl ever. Like, oh my, so hi Victoria, I love you so much. She was hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
her. She is just super beautiful. She told me a lot of great things about you and the cast. She's like, oh my gosh, she's awesome. She's so sweet. And I was like, I think
I love
she is.
her.
So she had a lot of good
She
things to
was great. Oh,
say.
she really, her part in the film, like she really made those scenes. She was so good. So good.
Funny because she's so not like that outside of that.
Really? Well, that's a great actor.
Yeah,
Then she's a great
funny,
actor.
but she's not like that character. So I was like, oh, you played a great job, girl.
She killed it. It was so good.
So
Yeah.
what other when we see you when you're working with Netflix? You did some stuff for BET.
Yes.
What do you have for Miss Candace?
So you can catch me on Netflix right now. Netflix's Family Reunion, starring Tia Mowry and Loretta Devine. Um, the second season, I forget which episode I'm in, but watch the whole season. It's
Right.
such a great show. It's a family show, but it's really good for adults too because it's just good, clean, wholesome,
Fam-
fun, and just it was such a fun set to work on. My character's name is Sunita Chanel. She's
Ooh,
this very pretentious French woman. I don't want to give it away, but she's a French woman with a twist.
okay.
So definitely check that out if you want to laugh. I remember being when we did the table read for that episode, and I read my first line with my accent. The entire room, I've never had people laugh that hard at me like that
Because you're
before.
good. I'm telling
It
you.
was so funny. So yeah, that was an amazing experience. An all black writers room, a black
Ooh,
female showrunner, just an incredible experience. And even
yeah.
the Netflix executives were so nice and just amazing people. So I'm waiting for them to call me back. I'm waiting for my reprise. So check that out on Netflix. I have another BET film coming out in, I believe, October. BET did a women's health initiative, and
Love.
they featured, I think, 10 films that had all black female directors at the helm of each film. And my film um, uh, featured, if you remember from Empire, her character's name was Portia Taronda Jones.
Oh, I love her. She's hilarious.
She's so funny, but she's
Fun.
also really talented, and
Yeah.
she's a little bit more intense than Portia, than her
Okay.
character, which I love because again, that's a mark of a good actor. You can come outside of your
It up.
personality. So she was so much fun to work with and direct. She directed our film. It also stars Eva Marcille, so it was really fun to work with her. So that's supposed to, I believe that's out in October on
You are
BET.
busy. Is that the one where Eva is the runner of a strip club? Is that the one?
No, not
No.
that one. I believe that's VH1. That's a VH1
Okay.
project. But no, this is something else because Eva's also booked and busy, honey. She's
Something even
yeah.
great. I gotta stay tuned for it. That's what we
Yes.
like to hear.
Yes. And then of course my album will be
Yes.
out later this summer. So
Okay.
stay tuned for that. Keep streaming, downloading, and watching Drive Back. Thank you to everyone who has already downloaded and streamed and who's watching the video and leaving comments. I love you guys. I see everyone, and I'm so overwhelmed with the response and how amazingly everybody's been responding to the project. And you're gonna love the album.
So can I get a sneak peek of the album at some point, Candiace? Don't be having me in the dark with everybody else now, okay? I need to hear the project in my email or something.
Well, I cannot release it
Candice.
digitally. I can't do that. No,
Okay.
well, so I may be doing a listening party in Atlanta. So I'll be going home for a minute.
Okay.
And I'm thinking about doing a listening party in Atlanta. So where are you located?
In New York, but I travel.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, well, I'll let because it'll probably be like mid-August, so I'll let you know.
Okay.
If we
Don't.
end up doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be for industry people and tastemakers and for the saints, for the children, just to get a taste.
I want to say I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
I am like literally in love with just your spirit. And I also, before I let you off of here too, for those who watch the show, of course, it's a show. Like,
yes.
It is a show. It
yes.
is a show.
Yes.
Editing characters, yes, they are, doing what they want to do. But keep in mind, it is a show. So she's a great woman. And if you guys actually got to know her, you guys would see that. Don't let a show steer you from losing out and learning about a phenomenal woman like Candiace.
That's
so
sweet.
I just want to say that. I want to say that to make sure I've made that clear. Because while we are watching with opinions, that doesn't mean that's who you are outside of that. So, and also,
true.
So you have a podcast out, my homegirl Leah Lemonade.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing, the podcast. Yes, you can catch it wherever you get your podcast. We're taking a small hiatus, but I think we're coming back what's today? Next week, I think we'll be back with new episodes.
I'm proud of you. Is there anything else you want to clear up or say? I know there was one thing I wanted to clear up with you. You made a comment, something along the lines about something that the Shade Room had done, and people were like commenting about it. I've seen some comments in here. Before you want to up real quick on what you meant by that, so you can just clear that
up. So I often comment on what's happening on the Shade Room, the Jasmine brand, Neighborhood Talk, all of the big blog sites that are really integrated into Black culture, into pop culture.
Right.
They have a huge influence on the way that we move through the world and the ways in which we see pop culture. And I have followed the Shade Room for a really long time, but I've started to notice, and this is not a slight at the Shade Room, but if you read my tweet, I speak about the patrons who patronize the shade room, it has become a toxic space. And I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I did an interview with my friend and co-star Dr. Wendy Osefo,
2 weeks.
for the show for Bravo. Yeah, and unfortunately, I was having technical difficulties. It was a little, my internet was a little ghetto that day. I was out. I was in the National Harbor, and I think there were just too many people in the harbor, so it was affecting the connection. But so I was able to log in and hear Wendy and the interviewer, but I could not be seen. But what I noticed is that most of the people in the comments were commenting negatively about the, sorry, my screen messed up, about the host's eyebrows.
My homegirl Jade Ashley.
Oh, do you know her? Yeah, okay. Hi,
My
Jade. And I was, at first I was like, "Are you talking about my eyebrows?" Because I know my eyebrows is on fleek today, and so are Wendy's, and so were Jade's. I didn't know what they were talking about, but just, you can't even work for the shade room and be free of unwarranted, unnecessary criticism. And I
yeah.
think it's important that we don't lose sight of speaking on those things and just allowing them to run free and be toxic and grow. And even in the comments, if I will comment on something, I think Coy Leray was posting a video of her like throwing money into the pool. And I don't care how rich you are, because okay, I have a trust fund. I'm not
Yeah.
throwing my money into the
My
pool.
hard-earned coin in the
Okay,
pool.
I'm not doing that. I'm not
No.
doing that. So I responded and I said, sigh, like, sigh, like this is crazy. There were hundreds of comments of people saying, "Fuck you, you ugly bitch, you this, you just
Oh
crazy
no.
stuff." And that's what I meant. It's just and that only happens on sites like the Shade Room. That's not happening on, I don't know. The Jasmine brand doesn't even have that
No.
kind of toxicity. And
Brand, no.
I
You're not
think that it's something that needs to be talked about. I'm not placing blame. I'm not, trying to start a revolution, but I made an observation that it's become a breeding ground for toxicity, and I don't take it back. I said what I said.
I said what
What I said.
Candiace, you know, I loved you before, but now in my mind